you need to take a Cambridge English exam. For real. I think every English learner should probably at least once take and get that prestigious Cambridge English certificate. Because at the end of the day, you can speak English fluently, have a high level of English, but it's really difficult to prove it to somebody if you don't have it certified, if you don't have it on a piece of paper. I know it can be sad for some of you, but it's just the type of society we are in. We always need to get it certified to have that paper for our employers, universities, or other institutions, and we need to show it to them. Because the real why to learn English is, of course, to be able to communicate with other people, get a better job. Cambridge English exams are just a vehicle to get there, you know? Because, yeah, you can learn English on your own with other materials, with other things, but Cambridge English exams really make it possible to apply those skills, transfer those just communication language skills to academic environment, to universities, to working abroad and having an employer from a different country and being able to communicate in English in those environments and having that piece of paper so that you can get recruited in the first place. And that's what I think is absolutely crucial. And people who say that certificates are useless and you don't need it are mostly wrong, because they probably have never encountered a conversation where they ask you, and what certification do you have? And we say, well, I can speak English, and that's usually not enough. So I think that all young people, young students, between the ages 16 to 20, 25, and also young professionals up to age 30, 35 ought to prepare for such exam and pass successfully, because you can get B2. It's fine. But in this world, B2 is still quite low. Considered in Western world, you won't probably get a job in the UK or in Netherlands with just B2 English, because the norm between university students and young professionals seeking higher, management positions and positions in different companies, they usually require C1 for university admission or applying for certain jobs and that kind of thing. Of course, you can even get C2. That's completely up to you. But C2 is rather for those who are either very passionate about language or want to teach the language, even if they are not native, which I see as a huge advantage, actually, because they can just apply the same principles they used to teach themselves, or that they were taught by other teachers, coaches, to prepare for the C2 exam. And they can give it to their students, their learners. That's what I do as well in my Cambridge Confidence program. I teach my students the same way as I taught myself when I was preparing for the C1 Advanced and C2 Proficiency exam. And it worked, right? I passed both of them, the C2 Proficiency with grade A, so 221 points, which is almost the most you can get. So I think that for the sake of just bureaucracy and papers, it's really worth it. Even though you might not have the right motivation, I think it's still super useful in today's world. It also challenges you to get your English to a higher level, I think, because some of you may be like, oh, I'm fine with my level, with my B1, B2, but then when you want to get to that university, you need to have that certification. It's not enough to just be able to speak fluently. And so then it pushes you to get more and want to do more and reach higher level, learn new vocabulary, new grammar. Even though you might not use it on a daily basis, it's something that will be so worth it in the future, I think. And especially in this society, it's interconnected. Can talk to other people in English without any problem. Then if you can, get the opportunities on the other side of the world without the language barrier, it's absolutely priceless. And some of you may be complaining about the 200, 300 euros you must pay for these exams, but that's nothing in comparison with what you get, right? Because if you can get to the university, would you pay 200, 300 euros to get to the prestigious university you want, or to get that extra high paying job with that nice salary and, bonuses? Would you do that for 200, 300 euros or dollars or wherever you're from? I think you would. So start thinking about the investment you are making, actually. And that's why I think it's so worth it. It probably won't be just that. You will also invest some time, money, and energy into the preparation. But some of you may be lucky. You might get it without any prep, but that's rare. And you need to have a higher level than what's required, usually. Don't think that just having the level is enough, right? You still need a preparation. Most natives wouldn't pass the C1 and C2 proficiency exam with ease. No, that's not the case, especially for the C2 one. That's really about high level of English and knowing what the tasks demand, and they demand a lot usually. And also the whole process teaches you a lot. And I've been through it myself, and I know what it taught me. It taught me a lot about discipline and how to get better, how to grow as a person, being able to discover these new methods for learning or these new strategies, and the diligence that is required to be able to pass writing. For example, you need to write tons and tons of essays. It's not just once in a while, you must every other day. And that's something you don't just learn by, watching YouTube or shows in English, hoping that you will somehow learn advanced phrases or structures. No? But you still need a strong base that you can build upon, because if you really don't have the level, or if you have B1 and you want to do C1 exam in 3 months, it's really not possible. So you must firstly build the base. So consume tons and tons of English content, meaning podcasts, videos, movies, shows, articles, books, whatever, just to get all grammar, vocabulary ingrained. Because it's one thing learning from a textbook where you are basically forcing yourself to remember those structures, but learning from a book where it's supernatural, or from a video, it just gets so much more easily ingrained. And that's the key thing. It doesn't even feel like learning because you're actually enjoying the process, the activity. Yes, it may take longer because it's not so intense, but it's so worth it. Just doesn't require so much effort and money in most cases. So build that base, and then on that base, you can start preparing specifically for the exam. I have other videos on each part of the exam, like writing and speaking, on my channel, so check that out as well. Yeah, that's probably for my tips. Just being consistent. You don't have to sit there for long hours learning new phrases or revising that grammar. It's not about that. It's about practice, and smart practice, because, maybe even an hour a day is enough if you stick to it for 7 days a week, 30 days in a month. Well, considering your preparation is at least 3-5 months long. But other than that, you just need to practice a lot, be consistent, and then get feedback and some guidance from people who are either experienced or have gone through the exam process themselves. Because it's one thing just thinking about it, not knowing what to expect, and preparing somehow randomly, or doing it with a clear plan, guidance, and support. But ultimately, feedback is what really moves the needle and pushes you forward, because you know what to improve, what's working, what isn't. That's again what I teach my students. Without a clear plan, you are lost. You get stuck and you don't know what to do, and you think, this is not for me, so you cancel your exam, or you just tell yourself, I'll get it next year, no need to do it now, and just delay that. I hope that you found at least something useful, because I just want to show you that it's possible. If you put your mind to it, and if you are consistent, diligent, and you work every day or every other day on that, if you don't stop, you'll get it eventually. It's easy for me to say, but I've really been in your situation, so I know. So if you want more personalized help from me, then you can just click the link down in the description and check out my Cambridge Confidence program, because I really want to help you out, guys, with your plan, with your feedback, with your writing, speaking, tell you where your mistakes are. So check that out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.